Tell me all about it.
Who is Esther Mortem? She was a witch. Alright.
Who was Esther Mortem? She was a witch.
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 Who was Esther? She was a witch.
Who was Esther Mortem? Well, she was a witch. I didn't really like her. She was always leaving her witch hats in the recycling bin. It wasn't good.
Growing up in Wichita, Kansas, Esther lived in a middle-class neighborhood with her mother and father. Her father, Reginald Mortem, had come to America from Europe when he was young, and his name was changed to Mortem at Ellis Island. Luna Warwick, a young single woman, just starting out, met Reginald while working at a deli. They married in the deli the same day, dining on anchovies and barbecue chips. Esther appeared as a fully formed infant the very next day. Esther was an obscure child. Instead of Barbie dolls, she liked voodoo dolls. Instead of playgrounds, she preferred graveyards. And instead of blowing bubbles, she smoked cigars. The Wizard of Oz always made her cry because witches get killed. She always knew what she wanted to do with her life.
I was Esther's 7th grade science teacher. She was an unusual student. We learned not to contradict her when she insisted that the earth was flat. But I've said enough already. This interview is over.
You know she's dead, right?
I'm sorry to hear that. I was a little bit nervous, as you could tell, perhaps, when I thought that she would see this movie, given the pineapples and everything else.
Her family moved to New York when she was 9 years old. She had trouble adjusting to city life and found it hard to meet new people. But eventually she learned to make friends through magical intimidation. It was easy to be nice to the new girl when she could turn you into a pineapple with the wave of her wand.
You're mean, you're weird, and you're a pineapple.
You know, I used to run into her in the neighborhood, and she always said to me, Olivia, why don't you trade in your bike for a broom? And I just looked at her and I thought, you haven't got a clue.
Checkmate.
Esther dropped out of high school at age 17 because the school she attended didn't offer witchcraft as an elective. Esther found her true calling a year later when she found out about a school where she could sharpen her powers and learn even more about witchcraft. There were only 3 other students in the school, which was located in Salem, Massachusetts. It was called the District Education Academy of Disaster, or DEAD for short. She quickly made friends with other young girls just like her. She had no trouble fitting in.
Well, I mean, I miss her a lot. She was a really good friend of mine, probably my best friend. We used to wreak havoc all the time together. I remember this one time.
We went to this little town, and I was pulling some little prank, but she turned the entire town into a pineapple farm.
It was so funny.
Esther moved back to New York after she graduated. She lived the rest of her life out there.